Hello, hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com. And today, my friend is sidereal astrologer who uses a lot of Babylonian ancient astrology, Krasi Attasio. Hello, Krasi.
Hello, Wada. Hello, everyone.
Today, we're talking about a different topic. You're going to demonstrate to us how to simple solutions, simple examples of astrology of love and marriage and timing of marriage, which actually Krasi is making a webinar about that. Uh, it's a 2 day webinar, yeah?
Today,
Next weekend. on
yes, yes.
20, when is it? On the 20th
24, 25, I think it was the next
of
weekend.
May. It's a very affordable price. It's 2 days. You can either watch it live, the workshop, or you can watch the recording and own it for life. And it's a big discount. I think it's on the $100.
109 it was, Wada.
Yes,
On the
for
website, I
both.
saw it. Mm.
Yes, and she would show you all the methods that she uses as an astrologer for timing of marriage, for compatibility, for timing of relationships. And she uses a lot of ancient and modern techniques that she has found out work the best. But I'm excited now to see some demonstrations of your methods.
Yes, Wada, thank you. Yes, I will be showing you rules, like to follow some protocol, because it is very easy to structure things in your mind and apply protocol when you will be analyzing horoscope. Um, this question is always interesting, relationships and especially timing of marriage. So, of course, we will be starting with seeing if marriage is allowed in the horoscope. Yes, in the end, we'll be searching for remedies in case that there are some difficulties. The horoscope, if the horoscope is showing challenges in finding partner or keeping the partner or others. So of course, very beautiful example is the one of Elizabeth Taylor with her 8 marriages and the great love. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. You know, when I was searching on Google, I was searching great love stories of our time. You could see their love story coming among the first. So I thought, let's take this one. So I want to share screen with you. Just for your information, I'm using very easy free horoscope and quite good, very well updated. And this is AstroSeek. I am using the fixed sidereal Babylonian zodiac. There you have Fagan Bradley Ayanamsha. You can use this one, or you can use the system that you prefer. But I personally use the sidereal zodiac, and I am illustrating my example with this one so that it's affordable and easy to find for everyone. So let me see if I can share my screen with you, Ada, and I will show you beautiful horoscope and very clear why she had her 8 marriages. In our webinar, we will be looking at timing of marriage. This is important for everyone. You know, many people want to find their true partners. And so we'll be looking at timing of marriage. Share screen. I think now I can show you. Do you see, Wada, the screen?
It's still getting there.
Takes a moment usually. No?
Done. Yes.
Okay. Now you see it. Okay, so you see her ascendant is in the 20 degrees of Scorpio. We will not really describe her horoscope, only 2-3 words so that the rest makes sense to you. 20 degrees Scorpio in the vicinity of Antares, the royal star of the stomach of Scorpion, obviously. This is already axis of power, and she was powerful and very visible. But why she became actress, why she became so popular and considered beautiful? Of course, this is the exalted Venus in the 5th house, right on lower meridian. She had Venus with Uranus and with Rahu in Pisces. This is so powerful that I have no words to express how powerful this is to show her luck, because the 5th house is the house of luck, the house of yeah, literally luck. So
House of
this,
fame as well, fifth house, fame,
yes,
popular.
yes, and it is Venus is trining Jupiter, exalted Jupiter, exalted Venus. This is already enough, and this is happening in the ninth and fifth houses, the most benevolent houses in astrology. But let's speak
Because
about,
it's many,
yes,
many, many. Jupiter trine is like many to Venus. Much, many marriage.
abundance, yes. And also, um, when we search for partner in the horoscope, yes, the seventh house is the house we consider describing first, but Mars is about the man in someone's chart, and why she had so many partners, and why in the end she didn't have partners, she passed alone. um, she at very advanced age, she was elderly when she passed. It is because the sun was in the fourth house, and the sun is shining very long, gives very long life when in the fourth house. But Mars in her horoscope is invisible, and Mars never became visible. I was searching for the progressions of Mars to see when in her life Mars became visible, because then he would have given her stability in her marriage life. No, never. That's why she never had partner for long. But she had many. Why she had many? Two reasons. According to Hermes, in a night chart, when Mars is invisible, people their sexual approach is very, how to say it, not under control, so to say it. Mars invisible in a night chart shows abundance of partnerships, but then Moon is in the 24th degrees of 22nd degree of Libra, and Libra in general is, in the ancient, and also in the traditional, in the medieval astrology, the signs have their specifications, and some of the signs are lustful. One of them is Libra, specifically the degree of the moon, which is degree which gives instability. And the moon is also related to not only to the emotional life of somebody, not only to our intuition, feelings, but the moon is very much related to the family life. Moon in the 12th house, in particular these degrees in Libra, shows that she would have challenge in her marriage life. Yes, indeed, Moon, Trine, Mars, and Sun, always very. You see, this horoscope supports fame and power, but in terms of marriage is quite, and finding stable forever partner, it's very difficult.
I,
Yes, we
I
could.
have Krasi the same. Mars conjunct the sun, invisible. It never becomes visible in my life. And I've had many relationships before settling. But I'm happy now, but
Yes.
but it's in a night chart. So there is some truth. I think for me, maybe there is other things that mitigate it. But
There are many details which are specific for every horoscope, of course. Of course. Also, you see, she has very a powerful Saturn in Capricorn, but Saturn is also invisible. She had challenges with both parents. Moon and Saturn are in a square, and the family model in general was of parents who most probably divorced or were not feeling happy with each other. So this is also the family model, and when we're searching for the model of partnership which someone will have, we also need to see, of course, the parents. In addition, what is very interesting, the term of the cusp, because you see the descendant in the 20th degree of Taurus is in the term section of Taurus which is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is exalted. This shows that she always will have partners which are on a very affluent, powerful position in society. And such was, of course, Richard Burton, whom she married 2 times. But when I was searching for the timings of her 7 or 8 marriages, yes, you could see them with perfections, time cycles. You could find them immediately. But most interesting was the marriage that she had with Richard Burton, because at the very moment of the when they met, I think they were filming something and they met. She had Venus, progressed Venus, entering Taurus. Progressed Venus entering Taurus, and she met him. He was the love of her life. Yes, only 10 years this lasted. Then they had one primary direction which divorced them. You could see all this with different time techniques. But in general, when you have Jupiter term ruling the cusp, the descendant cusp of your marriage, it shows, yes, luck in marriage. She had luck for 10 years, but the fact that the moon is in specific degree, Mars is invisible, this couldn't give longevity of the marriage, and she had multiple of them because of that. Also, let's say the moon in these degrees, the moon in the 12th house, makes her emotionally very very unstable. And this also led to some of the most of the divorces. She has this moon Saturn square is a recipe for fears, anxiety, depression, worries, and she had those all the time. I believe. I don't know her character, of course, but I believe, and this was behind the divorces. You see, Jupiter square moon, moon square Saturn, Saturn opposing Jupiter. These challenging aspects cause the total instability. In addition, the Lord of the seventh house, Venus, is with Uranus and Rahu. She would never be satisfied with the current partner. There will be always something that she'll be searching for.
Yeah, in Western astrology, it's enough to see Venus with Uranus to say.
Absolutely.
Marriage on and off, back and forth, or with such people. And Venus rules the seventh house of marriage. I've seen for someone marriage survive, but they were constantly moving with the partner. He was working in another town, so they would see each other 2-3 times per week. And when they retired, they had to start traveling all the time, or else they get restless and they'll break up or something.
See, and in addition, when I calculated the lot, the Arabic part or the lot of marriage, also very later in the class, I will show how to do that. But let me tell you honestly, with the Arabic lots, they work only as a helping tool. We cannot rely entirely on the calculation of the Arabic parts or the Arabic lots, even though in the ancient times, not very ancient, but the antiquity, they were used a lot. So Arabic lot is falling right in the vicinity of Saturn. So this already speaks a lot.
Love.
Totally,
The
yeah.
Arabic lot of love.
Of marriage, yeah. So this already speaks of serious limitation, which is because of the model she had from parents, their marriage, the influence of her father, who most probably was abusive, the invisible Saturn in Capricorn. This is a recipe for a difficult relationship with the father, very difficult. And this she would transfer all the time into the marriages, the model, and when it comes to remedies, because we always, when we look at least this is my personal view and approach when I'm looking at marriages and potential marriages in people's horoscope, is to see and fix karmic relationship with father, even if the parents were abusive, difficult, this happens, forgiving, understanding why, it's already big remedy. Then you don't transfer this model all the time to your future relationships. Otherwise, I believe this was her main difficulty with all her partners and marriages, was this model which she never forgot, was always interfering in her romantic lives. Later on, I made a match between her chart and the chart of Richard Burton. I didn't research the other partners. They were not so interesting, but Richard Burton was very interesting. And you know what? Something amazing, because in our webinar, we'll be there are 2 days. The second day, we will give special attention on synastries. They have luminaries conjoined, like eclipsed.
What
This
do you
is
mean,
the
luminaries?
sun and moon in conjunction.
Remember, we did once a video together, and you said that you looked at a lot of soulmate connections.
Exactly. I was thinking
Sun
they were like,
conjunction, sun moon conjunction, or sun moon oppositions type of.
Very. And the two had this. Other aspects too, interesting. But when I see in people who are in relationship, moon and sun conjoined, this is always, even if they separate, they keep thinking of each other all the time, or somehow they find ways to reconnect. And
It doesn't mean
also,
you stay together, but there is something of this karmic karmic connection there, very strong. Like
very.
soulmate. I believe we have more than one soulmates, but maybe just one, what they call like a twin flame, maybe. But usually it's a soulmate, strong connection, sun moon.
Very. And I think his Mercury was right on her ascendant. With his time of birth, we're not very sure. Her is more certain. With his, we don't have exactly the time of birth, but his Mercury right on her ascendant axis. This is the case when you constantly would think of somebody, and his Mercury was squaring her Mars and Sun. You can imagine, very strong aspect. So karmic, certainly two marriages. The first one lasted 10 years. They were beautiful couple, very interesting. They made big scandal. I think even the Pope in Vatican had to allow the marriage. It's something like that. So it was very interesting. But the thing is, you could see she was given the opportunity to meet good partners with her. The section of the axis of the descendant, term of Jupiter, who is exalted, trined by exalted Venus. So it's amazing. She would be given the opportunities, but because of the invisible Mars and because of the father figure model, she wouldn't keep them.
And I'm looking from Western perspective. This Neptune
Yeah.
opposition, all her male planets, Sun and Mars, she would kind of fall in love with certain idolized aspect, not see realistically. And movie stars, like movie stars, Neptune idealized. And uh, when reality sets in, she would be deflated. Maybe there was, what I also think with this Neptune opposition, her two male planet, there was deception. Either they cheated on her or she would discover secrets about them. And it's very important when someone has Neptune with hard aspects to be as honest as possible to their partners and direct and non-ambivalent, so they don't, and even if they are, they might have to experience this being misled and being uh, like not seeing the reality for some time. So
Yeah.
there must have been some disappointments there. And of course, there was a lot of addiction in her relationships with the men. They were all like users, drinkers. That was another big thing, which is again Neptune escaping the reality through your partnerships with the Sun and Mars, the masculine planets there.
Yes.
That's
This
Western, psychological perspective. Those new planets are psychological.
Yes, and you see it's almost exact opposition. Neptune, Sun, and Mercury, Mars. This is indeed something I forgot even to look at, but it's very powerful. And what I forgot to tell you, Venus has her first appearance in her horoscope exalted in Pisces. Can you imagine how powerful this is? Unbelievable. For her career, yes, money, luck, fame, but also for her
All the
romantic life. Everything, because Venus is ruling the seventh house of her marriages. That's why somehow I have the feeling that it was up to her to keep these marriages. Maybe at that time people wouldn't consult astrologers, really. They wouldn't. This was a time when astrology was not yet at revival mode like now. We are, astrology is again becoming so important for everyone. But at that time, if she would know, really, she would have maybe do something to keep her. um, but Venus at first visibility in exalted with Uranus, with Rahu, is very, very powerful. So yes, I think this was a little bit informative. Of course, we'll be making like a protocol, which steps to follow, where to start from, applying
I'm
Arabic far.
curious, how do you time important relationships?
That's the
What
most
methods
important.
what
Different.
methods do you use? Yeah, because I usually look at the progressions
I do,
and
certainly. Progression is
yeah,
very
and the
important.
transits, of course, but you mentioned primary directions.
I'm using primary directions. I'm also using, yes, progressions. You have to because they make sense. You see, she met Richard Burton when the progressed Venus entered Taurus. That's for sure. But what we have to look at, especially in love, marriage, relationships, um, these are the appearances, disappear, the heliacal phases of Venus and Mars. Super important for masculine horoscope. Of course, it is Venus. For feminine horoscope, it will be Mars. You see, in her chart, Mars never appeared.
Never become
Never.
visible. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Venus, it seems to be quite visible, but
yeah.
maybe towards the end of her life, it becomes invisible and she stays single.
Maybe I didn't
It's
check,
quite
but
far from the sun. It can't stay that far from the sun. So sooner or later, it becomes invisible in her horoscope.
yes,
Maybe like
this is a good point. I didn't calculate, but yes, but this is what we look at. Of course, Time Lord techniques we have to apply because it makes a lot of sense. The Time Lord techniques, when I applied it to the other husbands, I could see when she married and divorced.
what is the Time Lord?
Firdaria, perfections. When you combine them, you would see this stuff. But in general, the planets ruling the seventh house also, are key important. The planets in the seventh house, the nature of the signs, sometimes do like a sign which is a duo, like let's say it was Gemini, seventh house Lord. It would have another meaning than Taurus. So we'll see the nature of the signs, like I told you, and you know this in the medieval astrology also. You have lustful signs, you have signs which are not fruitful. All this matters when we describe.
Thank you very
Uh,
much, Krasi. If anyone would likes to, it's a short course. It's a 2-day course. It's not gonna, you don't have to make a big sacrifice of your time. You can watch it another time if you prefer and own it. Krasi is doing it on the 25th, 24th, 25th of May. I'm putting a link below in the description of the video if you'd like to check that course. So if you'd like a personal reading with Krasi, especially in regards to relationships or another topic, or to analyze your horoscope, again, I've put the link below. Krasi is always offering discounts for our viewers. I think it's still valid. So thank you so much, Krasi.
Thank you, Ada.
For everyone watching us live or after that. And yeah, that was sweet and short and sweet, as they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada.